Chapter 6, Life in the Tropical and Subtropical Land. Terms to learn. Cash crops. The crops grown mainly for sale in the market. Subtropical region. The region lying outside the tropical zone but close to the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Foothills of the Himalayas. The lowest ranges of the Himalayas. Mangrove forest, the forests which grow in the tidal swamps of Sundarban Delta. The trees of these forests are called Sundari trees. Plantation, a large area in which usually a single perennial crop like tea, coffee, rubber and bananas etc. is grown. Wildlife sanctuary, an enclosed area where wild animals are kept in their natural surroundings. You know that humans have the capability to adapt themselves to the natural environment in which they live. They can modify the environment to some extent and make it more suitable for themselves. However, certain components of environment such as climate and the relief of land can be changed by human beings, but since they are born in that environment and grow in it, they get adjusted even to the harshest environmental conditions. People live in snow-covered lands, dairy deserts, dense forests, and hilly areas where living conditions are quite harsh. Let us see how the people live in various environmental conditions. Life in the tropical rainforest. You have read that the tropical rainforests are found in the regions near the equator and close to the tropics. These forests are found mainly in the Congo basin of Africa and the Amazon basin of the South America. Life in the Amazon basin. River Amazon is the widest river in the world. It rises from the Andes Mountains in the west and flows towards east into the Atlantic Ocean. Numerous tributaries join the Amazon River to form the Amazon basin. The Amazon basin lies roughly between 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south of the equator, so it is referred to as the equatorial region. The river basin drains portions of Brazil, parts of Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, and a small part of Venezuela. Climate. The climate of the Amazon basin is hot and wet all the year around. There is hardly any season variation in the climate. It rains almost every day. The day temperatures are high and very high humidity. At night, the temperature goes down but the humidity remains high. Due to hot and humid weather, the skin feels sticky. Natural vegetation. As the climate is hot and wet all the year round, thick forests grow in this region. The forests are in fact so thick that the dense roof created by the leaves and branches does not allow the sunlight to reach the ground. The ground remains dark and damp. There is thick undergrowth of various types of plants in these forests. Hardwood trees such as mahogany, ebony, and rosewood provide excellent timber. Wildlife. The Amazon rainforests are rich in wildlife. Among the animals found here are tree-dwelling sloths, monkeys, and eating tapirs. Various types of reptiles and snakes also thrive in these jungles. Crocodiles, snakes, and pythons, anaconda, and boa constrictor are some of the species. Thousands of species of insect are found in this basin. Several species of fish, including the flesh-eating piranha fish, are also found in this river. Colorful birds such as toucans and hummingbirds make loud sound in the forest. This basin is thus extraordinarily rich in fauna. Life of the people. The people here practice slash and burn method of agriculture. It is also called shifting agriculture. In this method, the farmers clear a piece of land by slashing or cutting down the trees and bushes. These are then burnt, which releases the nutrients in the soil. Now crops are grown in this cleared field for a few years. After repeatedly using the patch of the land, the soil loses its nutrients. so it is abundant. Then they clear another plot of land to plant. In the meantime, young trees grow in the old field. In this way, soil fertility is restored. People can then return to it and start cultivating it again. While men hunt and fish along the rivers, women take care of the crops. They mainly grow manioc, capioc, pineapple, and sweet potato. The staple food is manioc, also known as cassava, that grows under the ground like the potato. They also eat queen ants and egg sacs. Cash crops like coffee, maize, and coca are also grown. The rainforest provide a lot of wood for the houses. Some families live in thatched houses shaped like beehives. There are other large apartment-like houses called meloka with a steeply slanting roof. Life of the people of the Amazon basin is slowly changing. In the older days, the heart of the forest could be reached only by navigating in the river. In 1970, the Trans-Amazon Highway made all parts of the rainforest accessible. Aircraft and helicopters are also used for reaching various places. The indigenous population was pushed out by the new settlers from Europe and forced to settle in new areas where they continued to practice their distributive way of farming. The developmental activities are leading to the destruction of a large area of the rainforest. This destruction of forests have a much wider implication on the natural environment. The topsoil is washed away as the rains fall and the lush forest turns into a barren landscape. Life in the Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin. Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin lies in the subtropical region. It is located roughly between 20° north and 30° latitudes. It is drained by the rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra and their tributaries. The main tributaries of river Ganga are the Yamuna, Gomitri, Ghangra, Ghandak, Kosi and Son. The Ganga, which rises in the Himalayas, flows mainly through the states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. The Brahmaputra rises in Tibet and after entering India flows mainly through Assam. Both rivers ultimately flow into Bangladesh, join together and drain into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers form the largest delta of the world at their mouth called the Sundarban Delta. The plains of the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, the mountains and the foothills of the Himalayas and the Sundarban Delta are the main features of this basin. The plain and the delta areas are very fertile as they are formed by the rich alluvial soil deposited by the rivers. The Ganga plain is dotted with oxbow lakes formed by the meandering of the river. Climate. This area is dominated by monsoon climate. Unlike Amazon basin, it has definite seasonal variation in climate. The summer season is quite hot while the winter season is cold. The monsoon brings rains from mid-June to mid-September. Natural vegetation. The vegetation cover of the area varies according to the type of landform. In the Ganga and Brahmaputra plain, tropical deciduous trees grows along with teak, sal, sesame, neem and peepal, etc. Thick bamboo groves are common in the Brahmaputra plain. The delta area is covered with mangrove forest. In parts of Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, coniferous trees like pine, deodar and cheer can be seen because the climate is cold and the slopes are steep. Wildlife. There is a variety of wildlife in the basin. Elephants, tigers, deer and monkeys are common. The one-horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra plain. In the delta area, Bengal tigers, crocodiles, alligators are found. Aquatic life abounds in the fresh river water, the lakes and the Bay of Bengal Sea. Life of the people. The basin area has varied topography. The environment plays a dominant role in the distribution of population. The mountain area with steep slopes have inhospitable terrain. Therefore, less number of people live in the mountain area of Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. The plain area provides the most suitable land for human habitation. The soil is fertile, agriculture is the main occupation of people where flat land is available for cultivation. The density of population of the plains is very high. Population density means the number of persons that live in 1 square kilometer of area. Example, the population density of Uttarakhand is 159 while the density of West Bengal is 904 and that of Bihar is 880. The main crop is paddy. Since cultivation of paddy requires sufficient water, it is grown in the areas where the amount of rainfall is high. Wheat, maize, sorghum, gram, and millets are the other food crops that are grown. Cash crops like sugarcane and jute are also grown. In West Bengal and Assam, tea is grown in plantation. Banana plantation are seen in some areas of the plain. Silk is produced through the rearing of silkworms in parts of Bihar and Assam. In the mountains and hills where the slopes are steep, crops are grown in terraces. People make various handicrafts from jute, bamboo, and silk. Terraces are built on steep slopes to create flat surfaces on which crops are grown. The slope is removed so that water does not run off rapidly. Some people living near the lakes, rivers, and the sea coast earn their livelihood by fishing. The fish cultivation is facing a great threat because the pollutants from the nearby towns are discharged into the rivers and lakes. The untreated industrial and urban waste with high amount of chemicals are killing the fish. The Ganga Brahmaputra plain has several big towns and cities. The cities of Allahabad, Kanpur, Varanasi and Patna, all with the population of more than 10 lakhs, are located along the river Ganga. Lucknow is located on the bank of river Gomati, a tributary of river Ganga. Kolkata is located on the bank of river Hooghly, a distributary of river Ganga. Recall the difference between a tributary and a distributary. The various means of transport are well developed in the Ganga Brahmaputra plain. There is a network of roads and railway lines. The waterways is an efficient means of transport, particularly along the rivers. Kolkata is an important port on the river Hooghly. The main area also has a large number of airports. There are various agro-based industries found in the plains. The important industries are the cotton, jute, wool and silk textiles, sugar, leather and making oil from oil seeds. Tourism is another important activity of the basin. Taj Mahal is on the bank of river Yamuna in Agra. Allahabad is on the confluence of the rivers Ganga and Yamuna, Varanasi on the bank of river Ganga, Buddhist stupa in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Imambara of Lucknow attracts many tourists. Tourists also visit the wildlife sanctuaries of Kaziranga and Manas, Assam. Arunachal Pradesh with its distinct tribal culture is also an attraction for tourists. Lesson at a glance. National vegetation, wildlife and the life of human beings differ in different environmental conditions. The Amazon basin lies roughly between 10° north and 10° south of the equator in South America. The climate of the Amazon basin is hot and wet all the year around. Due to hot and wet climate, thick forests grow in this region. This region is very rich in wildlife. The people here practice slash and burn method of agriculture. They mainly grow manioc, tapioca, pineapple and sweet potatoes. Manioc, also known as cassava, is their staple food. They also eat queen ants and egg sacs. Cash crops like coffee, maize and coca are also grown. In 1970, the Trans-Amazon Highway made all parts of the forest accessible. It changed the life of the people but adversely affected the environment. Ganga Brahmaputra basin lies in the subtropical regions roughly between 20° to 30° north latitudes. It includes the plains of Ganga and Brahmaputra, the mountains and the foothills of the Himalayas and the Sundarban Delta. This area is dominated by monsoon climate. In the Ganga Brahmaputra plain, tropical deciduous trees grow. The delta area is covered with mangrove forests and in the mountainous area coniferous trees are found. There is a variety of wildlife in the basin. Elephants, tigers, deers and monkeys are common animals. The one-horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra plain. The plain area is very densely populated. Agriculture is the main occupation of the people because the soil is very fertile. The main crop is paddy. Wheat, maize, sorghum, gram and millets are the other crops. Sugarcane, jute and tea are the main cash crops. Some people living near the rivers, lakes and sea coast earn their livelihood by fishing. The Ganga Brahmaputra plain has several big towns and cities. Some places are famous as tourist centers such as Agra, famous for Taj Mahal, and Lucknow, famous for Ibam Bar.